Good morning, Cougar community. Once again, it's a privilege to be here today, spending these few minutes with you and the faculty of our educational community here in Half Moon Bay. As Principal Nazar said, my name is Don Diaz. Some of you know me as Coach D. I am a Vietnam veteran. I served in the United States Army from 1968 to 1971 and pulled my tour of combat duty in Phu Bai, Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division in 69 and 70. My purpose here today is to spend some time with you talking about Veterans Day, which occurs tomorrow. All of you have the day off, and right now I want to try to explain to you why you have the day off tomorrow, the price that was paid to give you that day off, and the people who paid that price. Freshmen, this is new information to you, and if you have any questions, ask an upperclassman. They heard some of this last year. Veterans Day is all about respect and was initially called Armistice Day. It was declared a holiday in November of 1919 by President Woodrow Wilson to honor the sacrifices of soldiers who fought in World War I. The 11th of November was chosen as the date to celebrate the holiday, since that was the date that hostilities ended in what was then referred to as the war to end all war, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. As I said last year, why all the ones? I still don't know. At any rate, it was celebrated as such until 1954, when President Eisenhower signed Bill H.R. 7786, changing Armistice Day to Veterans Day, which now honors all veterans who have served in the military forces of the United States. For years, Veterans Day was also informally known as Poppy Day, since different service organizations would be on downtown street corners selling artificial red poppies as a fundraiser in remembrance. The poppy was chosen for its reference to a beautiful poem written in 1915 by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae called In Flanders Field. It immortalizes the fallen soldiers of World War I. Veterans Day is often confused with Memorial Day, which is celebrated in May. Memorial Day is meant to honor those veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country, while Veterans Day is meant to honor all veterans, both living and dead, who served in the United States military. To put this in perspective, when a soldier takes the oath of enlistment, he vows to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It's as if the soldier essentially writes a check to the United States government for an amount up to and including the value of his life. Memorial Day is for those soldiers whose check was cashed for the full amount. Veterans Day is for them, as well as for those whose check was cashed for a lesser amount. The value of a hand, a foot, an arm, a leg, a mind. These are the wounded warriors who deserve our utmost respect and honor. They've given not only their hearts, but part of their bodies for the freedoms that we all enjoy. Under the guise of the First Amendment right of free speech, there are some who choose not to stand for the national anthem. Some see this as a protest of the inequalities that are perceived to exist here in our nation. It is an individual's right to free speech under the First Amendment to the Constitution. However, when we stand, we are showing great respect to the individuals who have died to ensure that right. Standing for the national anthem is not an act of forced patriotism, but rather an act of paying respect not only to the flag of our nation, but to the individuals who have served under that flag. If you've ever seen a veteran lying in dress uniform in a flag-draped coffin, you'll understand the importance of that respect. I'm going to take a minute here and see if I can explain just how close the sacrifice of those who have defended our country is to your life, even at this very moment. Students, look at the desk that you're sitting at. Teachers, would you please do the same? These desks were not provided to you by the Cabrillo Unified School District. CUSD may have paid for them, but those desks and the privilege of sitting at them was provided by every veteran who has ever served our nation, from Bunker Hill to Iraq. Every veteran who has selflessly interrupted his or her life when our nation called so that our quality of life can be maintained. Every veteran who expects nothing in return but hopes that protected individuals will honor the patriotism that has guided our country for 240 years. Every veteran who only wants to see our country remain free and will do so by writing a check to the U.S. government for an amount up to and including the value of his life. Many Cougars have stepped up to answer the call. Just Friday night at the football game, I had the opportunity to visit with Dominic Semina. I believe Dom was a class of either 11 or 12. He's now known as Second Lieutenant Dominic Semina, United States Marine Corps. Dom is currently stationed with 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines in San Diego. Ironically, that's the same division my dad served with on Guadalcanal in 1944. I'm sure all of you know at least one Cougar who is currently serving or has served in the armed forces. When you see them, please offer the respect of a handshake and a kind word for their contribution to our national defense. By the way, today is the 241st birthday of the United States Marine Corps. If you see Dom at the game this Friday night, or know any other active or retired Marine, be sure to tell them happy birthday. You'll probably be answered with a Semper Fi or Hoorah. Trust me, he's not calling you any names. Hopefully today I've shown you that Veterans Day is not just a lesson in a history book and a day off of school, that it's part of your everyday life in the things you do and the people you touch. Now it's time for you to get back to class so that you can all enjoy the happiness of being here today. Stop your groaning. Thanks for listening to the Old Warhorse again this year. I'll close with a very famous quote. Extra credit, please teachers, a point or two, will be given to those individuals who can identify the individual and location. Old soldiers never die. They just fade away.